Oh yeah, yeah. As I'm a bit of a collector, I don't know if you noticed.
You wear many hats.
I like that. I like that.
So
Um,
many. It's not the first you've heard of it, I'm sure. But
no, it's not. But here's the first, you guys. Thanks for jumping into the podcast. But before we do anything, we get to the business of Unfix and everything else. We have to do it because we are slobberingly grateful for every guest we get. So we got to do the over the top intro. It is customary for anyone who joins us today. And let's just kick it off.
yes, great.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to thank you guys for tuning into the podcast. Whether your eyes and ears can see this, I am joined by not one, but two guests. First off, to your immediate left is my good buddy Alex, who is an award-winning producer. Alex has produced many films that deals with imperative stories, not only entertainment but education purposes as itself. But a person whose love of film making can only be rivaled by his love of the perfect meal. Whether it's sweets, meats, or eats, my man Alex knows a thing or two about a thing or three. And not to be outdone, to his left is the man with the power. Too sweet to be sour. He's an award-winning film director, screenwriter, cinematographer, and as a child, spending summers in the art studio with his daddy to directing Japanese motorsports and kicking it with Dave Kaz. He has went on to make movies such as Malice, Imperfect Sky, Cages, and now Unfix. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Graham, welcome to the podcast.
I'm speechless.
I mean it. I watched Unfix, and the level of emotion that I just gave off, you gave it to me when I was watching the screener. I just want to say it like this. Guys, you got something good here. Mainly because I don't know, and jokingly, I was watching it with my wife. You guys found a way to invoke every emotion out of us. Just every last one of it. I don't know if you lost a bet that says how much drama can I put into 90 minutes, but you did it. So look, let's just jump onto it. Unfix, I'm wording my words very carefully because I don't want to give any spoilers. But Unfix is about a movie of a survivor of conversion therapy, which is already it's already a topic of discussion. It's controversial depending on how you look. I grew up, I don't know if the grades fool you, but I was around that time of the evangelicals and the pray it away epidemic, if you will. And then it turned into things of this. So you rarely hear someone where it quote doesn't take. So what gave you the inspiration to even tackle that first part of the drama club sandwich you gave us?
Wow. It's just good, important issues. There are many stories about that. And conversion therapy is not a hidden secret. It's not something that is not talked about. It is out there. It is in dialogue. It's in the community, but we often just hear about it from one angle, from the victim's, the child's perspective of what it feels like to be rejected from a family, from love, to be told you're a broken person, and in order to be happy or to be accepted into the world, you would have to change. And we all know that fundamentally our cores, we are who we are. And that is something that we are embracing today in this world more than ever before. It is our core fundamental human right to be who we are. And yet the story and conversion therapy is at the same time still a topic that so many people don't know anything about or have not heard of. And so we thought, well, that is use conversion therapy and the idea of changing someone or rejecting someone for who they are, because it is about conversion therapy, but it's more about the human condition, about love, about acceptance, about finding your inner authentic self and living that with all your heart. So we had to figure out a way to tell a story that would do exactly the, messaging that we've been hearing over and over again, but in a new way. So we shook it up a little bit and changed the cards just ever so slightly and rolled out a new scenario to see how it would unfold. And that's what we got. So it's just a typical conversion therapy story, but we flipped a few cards.
You doggone right, you flipped a few cards, because not only did you talk about a very stressful topic, of depending on whatever side you're on it, you picked the most stressful point of my human existence to tell this story. So not only are we talking about it, something that is coming up, but then you hit the angle of, hey, what if we had this conversation, I don't know, in the pandemic, where you can't run? I mean, like, why the drama pyramid? Why? I guess that's what we're called here. Why
Yeah,
did you add that element?
that's the bet part that you were talking about. In a good drama, you want to make it as inconvenient or impossible as possible for the characters to get through. Otherwise, would be something quite, not
Yeah.
easy, of course, but let's just pile it up. And then, like you said, it's a time that it was stressful for you, but hey, what about for everyone else in the world? It was stressful for everyone. So it's a good connection point time. It's a bit of nostalgia, hopefully, but it's something we were all there. We all know it. And sometimes just the little things were huge.
Mm-hmm.
And go on.
And talking about the pyramid of emotions, conversion therapy is a topic. It is an issue that not only affects the victim or somebody who's gone through it, but all of those around him, those who are affected by being told what you should be, what you should do, as opposed to what you need to do or who you really are. So everybody's secrets are based on what society thinks that they should be doing. And I think that it kind of like correlates to the other characters in the film and how their secrets start to unravel as well.
I love how you put that, because it's almost like you're reading my notes, because you came off the top rope with the elbow drop of drama because of the secrets. Now, I'm not spoiling anything. It seems everyone in that cast had something, a secret that can essentially cripple the other cast members in whatever way, shape, or form. And just the acting on this is just because it was so good, because you're building this tension while watching this movie, and every second that passes, the tension just cranks up just a little bit, because I know what you don't know, and just going back to this now, Alex. I said it in the intro, but I really mean what I said. You love telling stories which are imperative, but also education. Now, I kind of knew this, but I didn't know to what extent. Like, conversion therapy can be a form of, and pardon me if I'm saying this wrong, I'm just trying to put it together, secondhand torture, because the person getting it is being tortured, but anyone else around or knows what's happening is like, you know what? I'm cool with this secret. Maybe I should just shut up because I saw what happened to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And since you're seeing that, it for no way of your own, it forces you to bottle in whatever it is. And but once it comes out, oh, it's out now. But I guess what I'm saying is, what made that story that you want to tell to really, like, I get the drama part of it. I feel like that's Graham's fingerprints. I really do. But I think this is something that you probably had a hand in, where you kind of schooled us on that. I didn't know it.
Yeah. The thing about this film, after making it, it's hard. It's kind of like trying to find out a way to explain it. When somebody says "Unfix," what is it about? And we had to realize, first of all, we had to ask them, "Do you know what conversion therapy is?" And to my surprise, and I'm not, this is the statistics of one, where I would ask somebody that question and they would, and 70%, I just kind of sat down and thought about it. And, we've done this for the last 3 years. So we've come across questions about the film, and 70% of the people that I ask don't know what conversion therapy is. They say, I think I do because I've heard of it before, but I don't know what it is. The other 20%, the kind of the older crowd, will say, oh, isn't that something that happened in the 50s? And then the 10% will know what it is because they saw the film Boy Erased. One of 5 films that involves conversion therapy. And so that is why. And so our angle, even on top of that, is different, as you have seen. But it's so surprising that people are not familiar with what it is, as opposed to, in addition to what it entails. And so, hence the rubber band snapped.
Oh yeah.
And that's just the mild side of it. Besides the psychological torture, sometimes there's electroshock therapy that's involved, medication, and all of this is inflicted on the minor. You could be an adult, and those statistics don't really measure that because adults can do whatever they want. But all of the conflict and the trauma are based on a minor at their most impressionable stage in their life, where what they're told, they really absorb and take to heart, and to where it'll affect whether they're happy or unhappy for the rest of their lives.
And one could argue to a certain extent that the physical tortures that children endure is one thing, but the torture of rejection, not feeling loved, to feel that you are not good as a core human being, are the kind of the kind of messaging that ultimately leads to suicide and self-hatred and things like that. And like we see in the story, we do see a parallel of one person in there who is to the point where suicide is an answer, and that reinforces others who have been through the same kind of process that, well, we don't want to go there now, do we? So let's conform. Let's let people know, let people hear what they want to hear. But at the end of the day, like you're saying, fixable or not fixable, people will just say okay, and they'll just say, they'll give in and go on with life and say, I'm good now. I'm good now. But that's only to ultimately prove that in your heart that you're a fraud.
Yeah.
Or to think that you're a fraud. If you, in this case, it's pretty complex. As easy as it is to just 2 cards and flip them around, the formula really doesn't change, but you just see it from a completely different angle. And to Alex's point, that means that conversion therapy affects everybody, and even some people who doesn't matter, straight or gay or whatever, it destroys you. It destroys your soul.
Yeah. And not only does it affect that person, but everyone that they have a relationship with for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So everyone is affected by that concept because they're not able to be themselves. But that's the hard part.
But this story is just taking all and putting it into a pressure cooker,
Exactly. And that's kind of why I like it, because much like how Alex just said, you don't know. And unfortunately, because you haven't been your authentic self, you yourself have questions like, oh, this person only with me or hanging around me because X, Y, and Z. And you did a very good job, both of you, just highlighting that. So I need to understand, how has the reception been thus far towards Unfix?
Well, that's a really good question. We don't know yet because tomorrow is the world premiere. It'll be the first time people see it. As far as reviews, we've been floored by the positive, powerful responses. I mean, people using the word powerful over and over again.
Yeah.
Compelling, or all kinds of great words that you would love to see in reviews. So we're thrilled at that. But the proof is in the pudding is when you sit down with, like tomorrow, with 450 people in an audience, and they're film goers and they're film lovers, and you see it and you get that response at the end, and we just feel we're excited to finally share it, and then we feel like it's going to be a great ride and a huge emotional journey for everyone on an interpersonal level, hopefully.
Okay. Hopefully, people come out like myself who see it and just yeah. I am picking my words very carefully because I'm trying not to spoil it. But there are things in here. Okay, I could do this. I can say it like this. Because of the subject matter and how deep it goes, you got a great cast who delivered that message to a point. So I'm curious, how was it on set because you hit some deep topics, did you lighten the mood or I mean, like, did everyone get like a cry break? What did you do?
Well, we shot. There's you and I will know, and it's not a spoiler, but there's, as it is with COVID, people were in lockdown, and so a good chunk of this film is kind of in one place, and we had the opportunity to set up residence for rehearsals and everything there in that space. So we were able to, and because I'm a cinematographer and director, a good part of our preparation is done way in advance, like a play would be. So we run it in location with all the spacing and the blocking, and I start working about the camera stuff, but I'm doing all the directing. So we run this over and over, and to the point where the actors, first of all, even before we even step on the set, we do table reads and we do lots of dinners and drinks and great food from Alex, and we just bond over the story to the point where it's so real to us, as if we have just the story in our head is something that has happened. We believe to the point, when you tell a story over and over again, you just know it, and all the emotions are there. And then we take that to the set and we rehearse and we carefully pull back on the emotions because we know what they are. And then when we get to shooting, we just let it out, and it's painful. It's as real as what you saw. Those emotions. We don't have actors. We have reactors. They are literally living those moments, and they are as in pain as you saw there. And everybody on set was on the same page. So it's a beautiful thing. It's somewhat therapeutic to get rid of it finally, and to know that at the end of the day that scene is gone and we never have to pass it again. But that's how we approach it. We approach it as authentic as the work of that character is going to, the journey of that character. If someone is trying to hide something, they will hide that something on that day, and if they're going to let it out, they let it out. But we create a safe space and a place where we can cry, we can stop, we can reset a little bit. But for the most part, I think our actors are talented enough. They know that let's go through it. It's there. Let's move into it. Let's step into it. So we shot in sequence for the most part to build up to that, which means it gets tougher every day.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because if one thing about acting, and I am not by any stretch of the imagination an actor or anything like that. This is the closest I'm getting to film. But it was so believable to a point where it was like it switches from like, is this documentary? Like, because it's like it was so realistic. I'm, like I said, I'm picking my words because I don't want to spoil anything, but there are not just the core issues, but then there was little waves of emotion because someone will say something that they instantly regret, or they instantly don't mean. And now we got a whole new issue. And then you had it was a lot. Yeah, I will say it like that. So kudos to you and the crew and the cast, because that was something where like my wife, she see me watch these screeners, she kind of looks over my head and all right, whatever. But this time she's like right next to me, like a moth to a flame. I don't know what it is, if drama situations. I don't know if Housewives was over for season. She was just like, I'm loving this. And I was like, all right. And I asked her, like, hey, you want jump on the interview with me? And she's like, no.
Oh, come on, we want to
Where
meet
is
her now.
she?
Where is she?
She's in another room and she's gone. And she was just,
Go get her.
Go get her.
and she all of a sudden got shy on me, and she was like,
just have her.
I don't.
She's our first fan. She must come on.
Yeah.
Like, she came out and she just straight up said, like, hey, make sure that you answer a few questions. But the problem is I can't ask you those questions. And this is what I was leading to, because it will spoil the movie.
Yeah.
So that maybe have to be an offline thing or something, because she was very interesting. Let's put it like that.
Great.
But this, guys, this has been a treat. I wish you well on the premiere. This is awesome. I really wish the best for you, because watching this not only, like I said earlier, educated me about some things I missed. And I was kind of feeling myself. I was like, man, I grew up with Jimmy Swaggart and the 700 Club, and I remember the interviews on 2020. I am dating myself with every last reference I just said. However, but when you see the real time effects, and then you get a chance to kind of time travel a bit with what those can do from that moment to right now, you got something special on your hands. So that was my over the top way of gushing and just saying, you got a good one here, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You are so kind.
Can we do the shameless plug and say, if you're in Los Angeles tomorrow, Friday, June 30th, at the Chinese theaters in Hollywood, it's the world premiere of Unfix, and everyone is welcome to come. You can get tickets at www.unfixmovie.com. They can see the trailer at unfixmovie.com. They get all the information there.
And a screening, because we are an official selection of Dances with Films, which is in the top 10 best film festivals in the US. And so that says it alone, because we've seen a lot of the other feature films in our category, and they're good. So good, and we are so honored to be among them. So we've won by being able to even be selected to be a part of this prestigious festival.
Yeah,
guys, feel free, plug away. I know you just did, but I'm gonna make sure I put it on my social media.
Thank you.
Mainly because this film was something. It was something for everybody. I will say this, because if you weren't educated, you learned a few things. If you, like my wife, who just kind of got sucked into the middle of it, of the drama, it was something for her. It was a great storyteller, and quite honestly, with Dances with Films, that's high praise. So that lets me know that this is something that I don't think I'm alone by saying this is something good.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much.
It's an honor to be on your show. Thank you so much, Sam.
Great way to start the day over here in California.
Oh, you got it. And you guys are welcome back anytime you want. Feel free to just drop by. I may have a different hat on.
Okay.
We always have different hats on, but it's more of a procedural thing than a physical thing.
No, I try to do both. I try to do both.
We also have some other great films in our library you'll probably like too.
So, check out imperativepictures.com. You'll see a lineup of imperative topics that we've touched.
And well, you just planned my weekend, and here we are.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Have a great one.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Bye-bye.